How y'all doing? The Across the Cowboys podcast is back, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Mike the Pig Crump and Brendan Fergie Smith. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good, my friend. Look at that with the quick and efficient intro.
Trying out some new things this season, Mike.
I like that.
Mike, where can we find you on Twitter, sir?
CD Piglet, guys, nice and easy.
Brendan, how about you, sir?
You can find me at Brendan_Smith26.
I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, we are a week late on the draft talk, but I'm excited to talk about it nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get after it. Mike, which NFC team had the best draft in your opinion?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest and say I think Dallas had a damn good draft. I think Dallas is, if they're not number one, they definitely have a case for tier one. Yeah. I wanted to go through. Can I give myself a pat on the back from the last episode we had?
Do it.
Check it out. If Tet's gone, who's the pick? My names were all O-line. I said O-line, and I said Mimbu, Campbell, or Booker. Position they can't miss on. I said running back. You could get a starter in the 5th round. Jadon Blue, 5th round pick. Double dip. I said if we're going to double dip, we'll be running back and defensive tackle. They double dip both those positions. Most likely to draft. My answer, Ravel Jr., who Dallas drafted in the 3rd round. And they asked for a sleeper, and my sleeper was Jadon Blue, who we drafted. So, just putting it out there, I got to pat myself on the back. Had a pretty good pre-draft analysis going there.
Yeah.
Team.
Did you how many first round picks did you guess accurately this year?
Oh,
we missed you too, Jordan.
It wasn't much. Yeah, I missed you too, Jordan. I don't remember. It was not a lot. 10, 11, I think. 11. But you're talking, Cam Ward was an easy one. I had because there was a trade up for Hunter, so that wasn't. I had Abdul Carter. Where'd Ginty go?
Raiders.
Yeah, see, I had Ginty to the Jags, but Jags moved up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I'd have to go back through. I don't know why.
I was just curious.
My head, because I don't think it was that many. I think it was more like 6 or 7.
Wow, it was a pretty unpredictable draft.
It was wild. It was wild. I did get Josh Simmons to Kansas City though.
Nice. Yeah, I know that was Brian Broaddus was on that pretty early as well, if I recall. Brendan, who do you think NFC team you think had the best draft outside of Dallas?
So I would say, so I didn't want to say Dallas because I know we're going to talk about the entire class. No, Mike's right though. I like this draft has been phenomenal, but I want to throw up. But I said Philly. Like the rich just get richer. You win the Super Bowl. You bring back Zach Bond. You give Saquon another contract. You lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You get Jahad Campbell just falls in your lap. He's just right there, pick 31. You go, okay, cool. I'll take the best linebacker. That's great. And then the person I honestly forgot who was a human was Makuba. I really forgot until he was drafted. I face palmed. I'm like, you're joking. You lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Okay, cool. I'll just take one of the best safeties in the class. And I'll just throw him right there. And they've traded back a lot, so they don't have many picks, after this. They're like, holy crap, this is phenomenal. But like what they got there in the first 2 rounds, just to add more depth to their defense, like they can do whatever they want, and it sucks.
When you're picking that late, I feel like you can take a lot more risk on who you take, and sometimes the draft falls perfectly for you.
Yeah. That's not reaching at all.
When you're so good in free agency and actually improving, your team doesn't really have holes. Yeah. So it's like, okay, just take best players and then we'll figure it out from there.
Right. And then your holes aren't even really that big when you prioritize free agency and stuff either,
Yeah.
You just take whoever.
I could see Jahad Campbell being an edge for them, the way Dallas did Parsons. Now, not
Like
to
a DPR?
Parsons level, but when they brought back Zach Bond, that's kind of what Campbell would have been. But they signed Zach Bond, so now they're just like, okay, we lost Brandon Graham, we lost Sweat. We're gonna play Jahad Campbell more as an edge player, and I totally expect that to happen for them.
And they'd never like force anything in the draft either. You know what I mean?
No, Dallas didn't this year. That was a change.
No, they didn't.
It was nice.
Definitely a breath of fresh air. Who do you think had the best draft in the AFC, Brendan?
Oh, it was Baltimore. Like we can say that every year, and no one can disagree with you. Malachi Starks. If you take Mike Green's off character concerns and you just don't even think about it, you get him in the second. That's who I thought we were going to take in the second. I didn't want Mike Green. I didn't want him at all. I'm like, oh, that's such a Dallas special pick right here. This is who we're gonna get. But he's a first round pick without character concerns. They do well every time, and it just sucks. You just see them. It's funny that they don't really do anything in the playoffs either, like us. But damn, do they win in April?
Yeah, they do. Mike, what about you? Who do you think had AFC team?
I got Jets. Mimbu,
Good.
Mason Taylor, our boy Wanye's brother at corner. I like those picks. That's a starting tackle or guard, depending. They're probably going to play him tackle because that's where they're weak. Taylor's a really good tight end, top 3 tight end in the class. And Thomas, one of my higher. I had a second round grade on him. It's a good cornerback to pair with Sauce.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of teams, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but this draft had a different vibe, not just from the Cowboys, but from most teams in the NFL. Oh, Brendan, which non-Cowboys rookie are you most excited to watch this season?
Oh, it's Genty. All jokes aside, he's a phenomenal athlete, and Pete Carroll's going to run the living crap out of him.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a lot of play action in Vegas, and dude, Genty's just gonna be fun. I'm gonna get to watch him at least twice because my best friend's a Broncos fan, so I might need to watch that, and it's gonna be great.
A lot of red zone in your future, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike, how about you?
Can you guys take a guess who my guy is? If you've been listening to the podcast, it's a guy that I knew Dallas would never be able to get, but he was definitely my favorite player in the draft.
Your favorite player in this draft?
It's Shedeur Sanders. Come on, that's why we know it.
Same division.
I feel like I should know this. Travis Hunter.
No. Derek Harmon. Steelers got him too, which I really like. If you watch what they do with their DTs, that guy's gonna be a friggin' monster.
Dude, that story was awesome for him.
Yeah, I'd say his story's easy to root for as well, man.
Yeah,
that was the best thing.
I would not say that it's awesome.
Well,
I know
that he was able to do that. He was able to do that.
Yeah, he was able to tell her right before she
yeah.
died. It's very, very tragic that she died, but it is. I'm glad that he got to have that moment with her before she died. The awesome fact is so awesome that she died, as Brendan said.
Of course,
So
that's exactly
great.
what I mean. Yeah, I'm just the darkest person on the internet, so of course that's exactly what I meant.
Died, man. What a moment.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I know Brendan hates his mother because he's like,
shit.
Wow.
he's like, Derek Harmon's mom died. Awesome. If only that would happen.
So lucky.
Jeez.
I
I'll
love
lighten
you,
the
Mom.
mood here a bit, but I'm gonna kind of cheat here. I want to say Ted McMillan is my answer, just because I'm curious as to how he'll look in Carolina. I think the Panthers are actually going to be pretty good this year. But another player I'm most intrigued about seeing is going to be Matthew Golden, just because the Cowboys decided to pass on him. I'm curious to see how he'll look in Green Bay. That's a player I'm definitely going to have my eye on a lot this year as well.
I'm worried about Ted because I look at big guy that has some good athleticism at wide receiver. Mingo didn't work out.
Yeah.
Xavier Legette, not a great first year in Carolina, and now they're like tripling down. And I think Tet is definitely a better prospect than both those guys. He should work out, but just scares me when you've had 2 straight, like just fall flat, it worries me, when you bring a third one in.
I don't think I feel like Xavier Legette towards the second half of the season actually kind of started to show that skill set that people were intrigued by.
Fingers crossed. I hope so, because I really like Xavier Legette too. I hope he's able to have a year 2 leap.
See, Carolina hurt my soul when they did that, so I wasn't going to put Tet anywhere near that answer because I'm like, oh, is he going to do good? Of course he's going to do good. But like F off, man. That was my guy. The way Micah Parsons reacted was me. Dude. Yeah,
just sad.
Hardcore.
Other than Shedeur Sanders falling, what surprised you most about this draft, Mike?
And it's funny, I'm going heavy Cowboys related here, but I'm trying to give them their props. Their process. The fact that in the first 3 rounds they didn't force a wide receiver, force a running back. They took the guy they had highest on their board and said, we're going with this guy. And they also avoided, like Brendan said, Mike Green. He was there. They could have got him. Got Ezraku instead. Well, why? Got a blue chip talent with a blue chip character. Yeah. That's never been a thing for Dallas. They're like, whatever, we want the talent. Kelvin Joseph on down. I'm not going to go through a million and kill a bunch of draft picks, but we've had that issue, if not injury, character guys. And so it was nice. Their draft process happily surprised me.
Brendan, what about you?
I could go with either the trade backup, but I went with the Falcons one. You gave up a future first. Are you joking? To the general manager that cares about first round picks the least out of everyone in the league.
A lot of people hate that Atlanta move, but you think about what they really needed on that defense, I feel like, to elevate it, and they addressed it. I mean, I don't know how high they'll be picking in next year's draft, so I don't think that first-round pick is going to be like top 10 or even top 15 or anything. So it's definitely a big gamble on a guy like Pierce, but I don't know. I think Atlanta is going to be pretty nasty, actually, man.
That division, it's Tampa's division to lose still, in my opinion, because they gave Baker every possible weapon now. So, that offense doesn't move. I don't know what to do. I think Todd Bowles needs to get fired very, very, very quickly if that team can't do anything. But it's so rich to trade back up for – that's your second edge rusher. They needed pass rush help so desperately, but still, you use 2 first-round picks. You got to trade up. You can give yourself – what, like, you're just gotta pray to God you don't have an injury next year. Like, of course, no one wants injuries and all that, but like, you gotta pray to God you're completely fine and you're somehow second in the division. That division's not good.
To Amber, I'd just like to say his initial reaction was like, offensive line, but after he spoke to Booker, Parsons loved that pick.
Yeah, it didn't take long for him to like that pick at all. What was your reaction after Carolina drafted Tet, Brendan? I know you kind of touched on it already.
Oh, heartbroken. Oh, utter heartbreak. Because I was hoping he would go top 5 just because, he's a top 5 pick. You were never going to get him in the first place. Like, it's fine. It's whatever. Pick 8, I was starting to think, I'm like, the Bears aren't going to go him. The 49ers might, but no, that's not like their MO to take a big receiver like that. I was thinking, oh, we're getting so close here. I'm like, the Saints could F us over. They could. But I'm like, they just let this happen. He's getting so close. And then Carolina just took a tall receiver for their short quarterback. It hurt my soul.
Mike, what about you?
I had heard that the Saints would pick Tet if he fell. And so I was just like, okay, that was expected. Disappointed because that was the player I really wanted, but it was not a surprise. I didn't think he was getting to 12.
Yeah, let's see. Amber 7 here looks like a new listener. Saints picking Tyler Shuck, I believe is how it's pronounced, but that high surprising pick. Someone 26 and injury prone as well. The dude was in college for 7 years and never threw for more than 2,000 yards. I don't understand that pick at all.
That pick was wild. Absolutely.
Very, very. But I mean, I'm listening to a lot of fantasy podcasts, kind of just preparing myself for upcoming rookie drafts. And everybody that I've heard talk about him, say that a lot of NFL heads were talking about how of all these quarterbacks, I guess might be the most NFL ready outside of Cam Ward. I was surprised by that, but you look at his college pedigree and you're like, kind of, it doesn't add up.
I'm a Will Howard guy myself. I think Will Howard's going to be good. I think Steelers might have got a guy that fits.
Snagged him.
Yeah, what they like to do. You ain't got to be an all-time passer for the Steelers. He helps their run game. He's physical. Mm-hmm. He reminds me of a young Big Ben.
Quite the compliment. What was your initial reaction to the Tyler Booker selection, and how do you feel about it now, Mike?
My initial reaction was not to YouTube, but to Twitter, who I had been told a million times, you don't know what you're talking about. My initial reaction was, I told you. Said if Tet doesn't go look offensive line, I had said it. I go, they want wide receiver. But if Tet's not there, don't be surprised. And my guys, I don't need to single them out, especially one of my guys is going through it right now. He lost his show and everything. But, they just told me they're not going offensive line again, this and that. And I'm like, I had heard what I heard, and I trust my guy when he tells me, my person when he tells me. So I'm like, okay, I'm just warning you, but we'll bring Tuck because Tuck's, a friend of the show. I try to tell Tuck, he was real, man, I'm going to be so depressed, this and that. And I'm like, I'm just warning you, man. I'm not trying to get you down. I'm just warning you that be prepared that it could happen. And when it did, I went to him and said, don't be shocked now. I try to tell y'all, I went to you and said, hey guys, this is what I'm hearing, that O-line is a big time possibility for this new staff and everything. They won't be afraid of picking one if Tet doesn't fall. And it did. So that was my initial. Now, once you hear the interviews and stuff, there's no way you don't like Booker. Like he seems like a rare and special dude.
Brendan, what about you?
So on draft night, I kind of like to go back to just being a kid because I want fun things. We haven't had a fun pick since Micah because you've gotten Tyler Smith, you got Mozzie Smith, and you have Tyler Guyton beforehand, which you've learned. You have one hit so far, and those, but also it's like 2 offensive linemen and a defensive tackle. That's boring as hell. And so I'm so used to being hurt by this team, so I wanted something entertaining. So I was bummed by the Tyler Booker pick because, like I said, it was my nightmare pick because it was boring, not because he wasn't a good player. Or it's like, oh man, this would be an awful fit for your team. No, it's just I'm like, I want something entertaining. That's why I was so hell bent on Tet. I'm like, is he gonna help us push over the top? No, he won't. But guess what? Will he be here to watch a cool jump ball? I'll be here for it. Now, he's a phenomenal. I can't say phenomenal athlete because he didn't test too well, but he's a phenomenal blocker. He will destroy people. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to legit crush their dreams and make them not want to play the sport anymore, which is pretty badass. So he's going to be great and all that. Like I said, I'm happy with the pick now because I've seen what they wanted to do throughout the draft class. But I was like, damn, I wanted someone fun.
Yeah, this guy hasn't even played a snap yet, and it already sounds like he might be the leader of the offensive line. You got to be pretty encouraged about a pick like that, man.
Yeah, I still think that's Tyler. I still think it's me, Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
Because you want this multi-time All-Pro. You go, yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tyler Smith will be the leader on the field, and Booker will be the leader in the locker, like the talker,
the vocal.
Yes, the guy in the locker room. I think that's how it'll go.
It'll be fun to see for sure. Do you think Matthew Golden or Ted McMillan would do more for this team than Tyler Booker will, Mike?
Okay, so this is a crazy question because I think people will, if one of Golden or a Booker, if one of them or Tet, if one of them has a great year, it'll be easy to look and go, see, man, Golden had 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns with Green Bay, man. We Dak needed that. But with Booker, one is the offensive line affects so much in the game. And then the way he is as a leader, the way he talks, the way he what we're told, we don't know yet, but the way he motivates and everything. If you take a step back from the stat sheet, which will probably tell you Golden and Tet and them were so impactful because of the stats they got, and Tet got 8 to 10 touchdowns as a rookie and was a monster in the red zone, and Golden was a first down guy and hit big plays, and maybe he got 1,000 yards, But when you look at the what he brings, how he helps steal as a duo blocker, as a monster, how he works with Smith and Beebe inside pushing piles, how that helps the offense, because not only him as a blocker, but you have shorter first downs to get. It's not as hard to keep the ball out of the other team's hands, affecting your offense. Your defense, by keeping it away from their offense, by controlling the clock. And then in the locker room, after a loss, they talked about Booker after a loss would bring those losses to practice and be like, okay, let's go. And I think that the complete package of Booker, the importance of the offensive line, the importance of him in the locker room, I think Booker is going to end up being more impactful. You just won't see it you'll have to be someone like us. Somebody that just watches First Take and stuff, they're not going to see it. But us who watch, the tape and podcasts and talk about it and all that, will understand the difference Booker brings to the team.
I'd like to think we'll notice a big difference, and he'll probably won't get the credit he deserves his first year, at least, for what he'll do for Dak's confidence too.
Yeah, I agree. You get us to a lot of 3rd and 3 where we can hand it right up the middle, or the quarterback can run for it, or we can get a short pass to somebody. Throw it to Jaden Blue out of the backfield and he gets you the 3 yards. It's a lot different than being stuck in 3rd and 7 and then having issues with your right guard, your right tackle can't pass protect. You don't know what you're getting out of your left tackle.
Exactly. Brendan, what about you? Do you have anything to add to that question?
Well, no, first off, Mike killed that one. I got to give props on that. But so, like I said, of course, I really wanted a receiver, but them taking Tyler Booker there, this goes to what Shoddy's been talking about, is like legit wanting to ground and pound. You can say what your scheme, like what you want your scheme to be in February, all you want. Okay, cool, whatever. Dak will throw over 300 yards every game. But now you're saying, I want to guard, and you're working on this, working up the middle. That does change things, because guess what? What if you run the ball 20, 25 times? Is Ted going to get the ball that much? Because you're still going to try to get to CeeDee Lamb. You're going to want Dak does love Fergie, so Dak's going to look at Fergie. How much is your wide receiver 2 going to be that as valuable as last year compared to this year? I can't say new scheme because Shoddy was here, but all these new coaches wanting to run the ball at least more creatively.
Evolved scheme, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up just yet.
I was talking about this on Twitter after, during draft weekend, and I was saying how the addition of Booker is going to obviously improve the offensive line, but when you think about what an improved offensive line could do for this offense in creating explosive plays, and then you look at the target competition, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, and then probably Jaden Blue, right? How, like a legit wide receiver too, how many targets would they actually get, like a Matthew Golden or a Ted McMillan in this offense? I feel like what we could get from Kevontae Turpin might be, obviously he's not the talent of a Ted McMillan or a Matthew Golden, but as far as production goes, with the improved offensive line, I think those explosive plays, I think Kevontae Turpin might be like your low-key big playmaker that we've been looking for these past couple of seasons.
And then what you need is a Mingo to be a red zone threat. You need Mingo
Schoonmaker, man.
To bring in 3 or 4 touchdowns from the red zone to relieve CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson, who before last year was a guy that they would look for in the red zone. So yeah, they if Mingo could be that guy, the goal line fade guy, hey, we got a short corner on them, or we know they're one-on-one because we put Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb on that side where the double's going to be, and we moved out Jaden Blue on that side. So now we know Mingo is one-on-one, let's throw a fade or a back shoulder to him. And if he can make plays like that and end up being the 6 to 8 touchdown guy, a deep 1 or 2, and then red zone, 3 or 4 red zone touchdowns, that could be enormous for the offense.
I mean, I feel like Schoonmaker could be our red zone guy, man.
Could be. I can see them running a lot of doubles. The question is, will they be able to block? Because
exactly.
Adams ain't going to work them if they can't get involved in the blocking game.
Real quick, how would you grade Schoonmaker's blocking ability?
He was actually really good in college. He's been a letdown in the NFL so far compared to what I believed he could develop into from his college tape.
All right. Nice. Okay, if you could go back and change one pick for the Cowboys, which one would it be, and who would you draft? Brendan.
This one was tough because they did really well. My brain automatically went to Shamar James, but that's an Eberflus pick, so I couldn't really say, oh, let's change that up when your defensive coordinator wants him. I wanted JD Martinez. I was hoping just to double dip thin, but then you got Phil Maffa, so I really liked 99% of these picks, except for the one extra defensive tackle you took. I have no idea who that is, but I couldn't think of one, honestly.
Yeah, kind of hard to even nitpick at this draft. What about you, Mike?
I think Maffa for Martinez is a fair answer. I think Martinez is a better prospect than Maffa. I don't know did Martinez go before or after the Maffa pick? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure after to Seattle.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. So that would have been one I'd have been okay with. I would have took Chris Paul Jr. over Shamar James. Personally, I think Chris Paul Jr. is a very instinctual linebacker. He's like his dad. He should be great, but he's small, so it limits him. But he sees things really well. He plays with great anticipation. He has decent athleticism. He's just smaller, so he's not a take-on blocks, middle linebacker. But I would have went with Chris Paul. I had him in my top 5 linebackers in the class. But I understand, going back to the 2023 tape, I understand what Eberflus sees in James. You could see it. I still would have went Chris Paul, though, so that would have been my change.
Well, you see both with James and Maffa. They were both team captains with their team, with Shamar James being a 20-year-old captain for Miami, which is absolutely nuts.
They also both had better tape in 23 than they did in 24, in my opinion. So that shows that the team was looking back okay, Maffa was hurt. He had shoulder injuries this year. I know Stewart played through injuries. And they're looking back and going, well, look at how they played, before they were injured. Mm-hmm. And, you're hoping to get that back out of them healthy.
It's kind of, I feel like if you can go through your first 5 or 6 picks and you're like, man, I can't really argue with any of these guys. You've got to feel pretty good about how your team drafted.
They had, I didn't just, you guys know, I would rather shit on the Joneses. So me answering Cowboys having the best NFC draft was honest to me. I thought they killed the draft.
Those first 3 picks, man, are just lots of teams would die to have a first 3 picks go that way.
Yes, and then you come back. You don't have to trade up, and Jadon Blue falls to you. For me, the first 4 were out of the park home runs.
And then imagine just if Mingo even has the season that you were just talking about, 4 TDs, or is a red zone threat, or is a reliable wide receiver 3. Then you're like, man, this draft is really sick.
I would absolutely prefer they go out and trade for a real wide receiver 2. Yeah. But since I don't really consider them contenders, the Amari thing and the Keenan Allen thing, I'm starting to kind of throw Mingo out there. He's a bigger body. He blocks. He can help in the red zone. I've seen him get open and be missed by quarterbacks. So I kind of want to see how he does in that role, where I think a lot of teams are going to go put 2 on Lamb, watch Ferguson up the seam, watch the running back out of the backfield, because Javonte Williams can catch the ball too. So
Yeah,
him
exactly.
or Blue, who I think are going to be the top two guys. And I think Mingo is going to – my worry is, do they just go, well, Tolbert caught 7 touchdowns, so put him out there. I don't want Tolbert on the field. He can't block. Like, if we're going to be this team, put the guy out there that can block. It's
like you said. I mean, Clayton Adams and White Cotton probably won't put him out, or not White Cotton, but the O-line coach won't put anybody out there who's not going to block Riley. I'm kind of curious. I know we didn't see a lot of him from him last year, but what about Flournoy? I mean, has everybody already kind of given up on him, or do you think he could maybe give himself a chance to be just a wide receiver 3 or something this year?
I think he'll be a guy that battles for 4. I think Mingo, I believe, will be 2, in my opinion. I think, like you said, I just don't think the coaches are going to have a guy that doesn't block out there as a wide receiver 2. So I think Mingo is going to win that role. And then Jalen Tolbert, Flournoy, those dudes will battle. Turpin will kind of be the 3rd, but I don't think they want his usage to be too high. So Tolbert and Flournoy will get their stuff in there. The thing about Flournoy is James Brooks is a really good special teamer. So he's got to battle that too. He's got to battle the fact that James Brooks is going to be fighting for wide receiver 4 because he's special teams. He'll come out and block. He's a good blocker. He's made catches with Dak before. Mm-hmm. So it's just hard. There's a lot of guys jumbled in that are kind of big, non-separator, go-getter guys, and you got to be the best special teamer and the best blocker out of that to get ahead of everybody.
It'll be interesting to see who, like, Dak takes under his wing this offseason and works with a lot. That'll say a lot.
Should be Mingo. Really should.
Did the Cowboys go with best player available approach in this draft? I think it's fair to say yes, but I'll let you answer for yourself, Mike.
Yes, sir. Brendan?
Oh, yeah, easy.
Pretty easy. Other than wide receiver 2, did Dallas fill all of its other needs in the draft, Brendan?
They needed defensive tackle depth. They got 2 of the guys, which honestly, the Toya guy from UCLA, I really do love that pick because he is just one fat dude who's not going to get moved. And that's all you need from him. Like, Mozzie's more, I guess, has more strength or whatever, but I just need size that can't move and doesn't try reaching like what Dontari Poe did back in 2020. Running back, they got.
Sorry. I was just going to say, Toya played 55 snaps as off-ball linebacker at 300.
Okay. Oh my God,
dude! I want to. It's like Vince Wilfork kill shots. Like, okay, I kind of want to see that in the preseason now. If Eberflus does that, I will post so many things on Twitter.
He would stand him up. He would stand him up at the line like he was friggin' Micah Parsons. He would stand him up at the line, but he'd be standing as a linebacker. It's wild at his size.
Yeah, you needed a guard. Insane. I was like, you needed a guard. You got the best guard in the class. You needed defensive end depth. You got one of the best defensive edges in the class. I try not to give off the next questions, but then you get a corner that, like, you really need depth just in general. You don't know who's going to start outside with Ron Bland this season. Then you get Shavone Rebel in the 3rd, dude, and everyone's talking about, like, oh, he's he's pretty much healthy. He's getting there. He's probably going to be like 2 weeks into camp. He won't be able to do anything, but after that, he'll be good. You're telling me he's going to be healthy? You got Shamar James, who's your depth at linebacker, Jaden Blue. You finally have speed since Tony Pollard left. You did good. Like, you did damn good.
Mike, anything to add to that?
I think they need slot corner. That's one need that they haven't filled yet. Now, that doesn't mean they can't move around things to make it fit. Maybe Deron Bland ends up in the slot. And then is offensive tackle a need? That they got a guard, but is it a need? I don't know yet. Yeah. So, and then one technique, obviously we don't know. I think Mozzie, his last 8 games, played like a productive starting player, and they got Toya. So I'm pretty happy there, but those 3 positions make me a little nervous.
How would you feel if we went out and signed Asante Samuel?
I would not hate that. Hilton, Samuel, Fuller. Fuller might have got signed somewhere, but if one of those 3 were signed, yeah, you'd be pretty good. Go ahead, Brendan. Sorry.
I want to say I don't. I'm pretty sure that they like Izzy in the slot and all that, but I feel like it's gonna be because. So let's just say Revel's healthy. We're just gonna like week 1, he's healthy. I think it's gonna be him, Bland, and Elam, because since they traded for Elam, they don't like wasting trades. If you have anything
Bland
you're going to play,
inside.
huh? Yeah.
So on first on in non-nickel, it's Bland and right. Elam outside, and then when the nickel comes in, Deron Bland slides in, Revel comes in and plays with them. Yeah, that makes sense. If that's the case, then your slot's fine, because even when Diggs comes back, Diggs just takes Elam's or Revel's spot if Revel's struggling as a rookie, or Elam, and you're good. You have Diggs and Bland, and then move them inside. That would be cleared up if that's the case.
For sure. I think it's going to be exciting in camp, because you can't help but feel like there's going to be a lot of battles for starting positions. I mean, I know this team, the front office likes to do a lot of politics. If they traded for you, if they paid you a lot of money, that you're going to get every opportunity to win the job. But I do think we're going to see a lot of more having to earn your jobs this season.
Wide receiver, running back feels like for sure. Rotation at defensive end, and quiet as it's kept, at least one safety spot. I think Dono's spot is 100% in question.
That's unfortunate, man, because Wilson, dude, just the last couple of years, even though last year was pretty bad, he's been like a game changer for the defense, man.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he fits Eberflus, what Eberflus likes to do. I'm not sure he fits. The guy, there's some undrafted free agents that they got that could be next year's Thomas and Bell, where they come and start getting snaps in 2026. I wouldn't bet on this year.
Which Cowboys rookie are you most excited to watch this season, Mike?
Ezraku. Come on,
Easy,
man,
baby.
His pass rush repertoire as a rookie is so gross. And it's long arms, and the thing is he plays the run pretty well in college. I think they'll give him a year to build his strength up, especially when you have Nealon, Fowler, and Parsons are all going to be, run players.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of going to be NASCAR. Like, hey, dude, don't, unless somebody gets injured, we're not going to be playing you first and second down. When it gets to 3rd and 7, you're going to be fresh legs coming in, and we're going to have you and Fowler, and Parsons will probably stand up somewhere, and you guys are just going to go feast and freak out every quarterback you play.
Brendan?
It's Savon Revel. I want to preface this that third round pick terrified me, because I kept seeing Shedeur still on the board. I'm like, oh, Dallas is going to do it. I'm like, they're going to do it. And it popped up Savon Revel. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, they were smart for once in their lives. Like, everyone's talking about, which I've seen, like, of course, past tape, is that he could have been the first corner off the board if healthy this year. Like, you get that in the 3rd? Are you kidding me? And then, like I said, everyone's talking about how he's going to be healthy. Bro, we had Caitlin Carson starting last year. We pulled people off the streets to start on the outside corner in the past couple of years. And now you just have a guy who could easily take Diggs' spot next year. Or Bland, because, who knows if they're going to get contracts done, because Dallas is the worst at paying people I've ever seen. But, like, Revel's so good, dude. He's so fun. See, I can say this without Mike able to twist anything. He has a phenomenal story that it all ends well here. So Mike can't twist it like, oh, man, I'm so happy that someone got injured and all this shit.
Did Savon Revel's mother die or something? Were you so happy about his story?
Dude. But no,
go ahead.
No, but seriously though, like, he's such a good athlete. He interviews so well and all that. And you get him in the 3rd? Like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
If our guys come back from injury, if our 3 guys come back from injury healthy, we could have a DB room that has Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs, Savon Revel, and Josh Butler was playing his ass off last year.
Yeah.
And that could be your 4-corner, rotation you're bringing. And we don't know about Elam, who was a former first-round pick, who fits what Eberflus does a little bit better than than what he had in Buffalo. So, you know, they have potential in the defensive back room.
I'm not ready to give up on Kalen Carson. I like his attitude. I think he has the right mindset for what this team, the culture is this team is trying to build. So I'm not ready to give up on him. But yeah, our secondary could be really nasty, man.
Seatbelt, I agree. Seatbelt could start in the slot early. I'll be interested if they'll give him that chance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How much better is this team with these draft picks, Mike?
I think they're a better pass rush team and they're a better running team. I don't know if they can stop the run. I think they'll be worse, passing the ball most likely. I don't think they did much to help their run defense. We'll see about the 7th round pick. It's hard to go like, oh yeah, 7th round pick, we got it. We'll see the evolution of Mozzie, but I think the pass rush is nasty with adding Fowler, returning Sam Williams, Nealon in year 2, drafting Ezeraku, and then having maybe the best pass rusher in the league, Parsons. Nasty. And then getting Booker to help with Steele, to help with the inside. You got a couple of young running backs. I like Javonte Williams. I don't know what Miles Sanders is going to give you, but I like the rush offense too, especially with our new coaches.
Brendan, what do you think?
Well, no, I kind of hit on that. I more just was thinking about the depth is better, almost all around, other than wide receiver 2. We're not we don't even need to get into that because everyone knows just how bad we are. Even though there is reports that Dallas and Amari Cooper have mutual interest in each other in a whole comeback scenario, which I've been saying since February that should happen because I thought it'd be funny, and I'm just quiet prophet, I guess. But no, the depth, their D-line is great now. We even have this D-line like this in a minute, and I'm happy about it. I want them to all pop off because D-Law talks shit. So I feel like he's watching his old team bully people. It'll be a lot of fun. Booker helps that interior offensive line completely. Cooper Beebe's the one guy looking around who the hell are all these Tylers? He's really confused. But that interior offensive line could be nasty. And you just gotta hope that your depth is better. Other than you're hoping now Mingo is your number 2, which is really gross.
If the Cowboys have a real great culture, Cooper Beebe should change his name to Tyler Beebe. Well, at least Terrence Steele is a T.
Yeah,
but yeah. Cooper Beebe, change your name to Tyler Beebe, dude.
Dude, I'm gonna say this. And this is going to sound like it's a really bad thing, and I'm going to try to make it not. But them going for character guys or the quote unquote the right kind of guy. This is so Jason Garrett-esque, for Shoddy, the way he's building this. Way better coaching staff than Jason Garrett has ever built. Let me put that in perspective, at least on paper. I'll say that on paper. But you're really sounding a little gingery right now, man. If I see you clapping on the sideline a lot after a bad play, I'm going to get a little scared.
You know what the difference is, though? If you go back to and y'all know I hate Jason Garrett, but I'm just talking draft here, is our crew this time doesn't have a Rod Marinelli fucking shit up.
That's true.
If you go back to Jason Garrett, Des Bryant, Tyron, Zach, Frederick, Witten. Well, Witten was Bill Parcell, but they go through and Dak they've hit on some picks, and then Rob Marinelli would come in and go, I don't think TJ Watt fits what I want to do. Let's get homeboy they got in the 2nd round because they spent the night together in a hotel and talked.
Tristan Hill.
You could tell the coaches for Dallas were in on character, we like this guy's character, but their board was built by scouts, and that's big time. It's a big difference.
And I think not just character good guys, but guys who love football, and these guys might be nice guys, but they got that dog in them too, though.
They want to work. They want to study film. They want to practice. They love
the game.
Yeah, it's a lot of times being a Dallas Cowboy knocks that away. You want to be a Dallas Cowboy during the week because that's so much fun. And I want guys that want to be football players during the week because then you're ready for football even more on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Did this draft change your opinion of the front office, Brendan?
No, it's very hard for them to shoot anything. But like they've done it before. Like they've done draft classes. Of course, we're hoping like on paper this is all great, but they've hit on their picks before. This is not like, oh boy. This is like the Dallas has tried to build through the draft every year. That's their game plan every single year. So you better pray to God that they hit. Like seriously, that's what. Well, I can't say like your career depends on it because it's all family led. But like, nope. You'll see on the season if draft picks do well. Shoddy could be great. Shoddy could be bad. You're trying to hype up this like the Jones is trying to hype up this season so much for a lot could fall really quickly.
Mike,
you shouldn't even have to ask me this. Who's their wide receiver 2? Like, no, they're
Turpin.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They're god awful. They're a terrible front office. They just happen. Will McClay just happens to be great in the draft when they don't let coaches get in the way. So,
all right, you guys, I'm going to give you all a question off the show sheet. You can only pick one. Who would you rather hit this year, Tyler Guyton or Jonathan Mingo? Brendan,
you gotta go Guyton. He's your first round pick. So if you have that, your offense is basically solidified. Steele, you'll see if he comes off better from injury. But if Tyler Guyton hits and he's like average to, if you can even ask for a little bit above average left tackle, dude, that at least 4 out of your 5 offensive linemen is gross.
Mike,
that's the correct answer. You have Guyton longer. He's younger. He's a first round draft pick. Left tackle is more important than wide receiver 2. So yeah, Guyton would be the answer.
I mean, I think we're like a Tyler Guyton or Terrence Steele bounce back, or like a Tyler Guyton, figuring it out season away from maybe not being Super Bowl contenders, but I think potentially winning the NFC East. Am I crazy for that?
I can. The way you say it is that if you have that, you go onto the field believing you could beat anybody you play. And so would I believe we'd make a run through the playoffs? No, we'd probably run into the Eagles or Detroit or somebody who's better, who has a better all-around talent. But if you play the Eagles, you're not going to be like, oh, we have no chance. If you got 4 of the 5 offensive linemen really good, and your 5th guy is a Terrence Steele, you're pretty excited about that. If that's like your worst guy, yeah, you're gonna do some damage, and your teams are not gonna want to play you. We'll be like Detroit 2 years ago, where they made the NFC title game, but people weren't really thinking like Detroit at that time. They were like they're building, and they made the NFC title game and really should have won that game, and you see what happened. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say they would be a true playoff contender. They'd be a playoff team that could win games in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. What grade do you give this? Or excuse me, has this draft changed your outlook on the upcoming season, Mike?
I got them 9 to 10 wins and maybe a playoff win. Like they'll battle to get in the playoffs, maybe win around and out. So no, this is still rebuilding. Like even if the D tackle's good, he'll be a lot better in year 2. Even if Guyton did make a jump, he'll probably jump again in year 3 if he's able to jump once. The running backs will need a year. That you need another wide receiver. Shavon Ravel will need a year. So you probably are a year away from being what you could be if this draft class hits.
Brendan?
No, I agree. They haven't changed anything. No, Mike hit it on the head. This draft is built for 2026. They're not punting on this year per se because of course they'll never admit that ever. But like, oh yeah, hey, we got 10 wins with our rookie head coach. Look at this, we're doing great. Like you're gonna be doing better because your quarterback's healthy.
if your wide receiver 2 is not upgraded, you're admitting you're punting on the year, because you have to work so hard to beat. Forget their strategy has to be to muddy and bloody every game, which is fine when you're playing Philly and you're trying to win 23-20. But the problem is when you play the Panthers, you're going to have to play the same way. And then the Panthers look like how can they beat the Eagles, 24-21 last week, and now they're playing Carolina and it's 17-13 in the fourth quarter? Well, because that's how you have to play every game. Like, that's how you built your team to play. So it's.
I'm going to ask you another off-sheet question. Brandon, Mike, I'll start with you this time. Would you rather this team win a playoff game in 2025 or this team have a chance to draft Jeremiah Smith in the 2026 NFL draft?
How high do they have to be to get Jeremiah Smith?
This will be top 3, top
10
5.
pick.
I mean, top 3 to top 5.
Top 10 safe, but you got to have to be probably top 7 at least.
I would want to win a playoff game. The team's young, and with this culture, I would want them to. They need to get into the tournament and learn how to win those type of games.
Yeah.
Dak and CD are kind of the old guard, which is crazy because CD's in like year 5 or 6, 5. Yeah, that's wild. But like they need to start building up the way the Timberwolves, did last year. Now they came in and were able to knock out Lakers who had Luke and LeBron, So I think you need to win some of those games, and I trust our team to draft a guy, even if it's not top 10.
Brendan, I feel like your reaction said it all, but I'll ask anyway. Jeremiah Smith.
I love me some Jeremiah Smith, man. The reason why I'm more reactionary to this is because I saw a tweet, I think either today or was it yesterday. I'm like, oh, everyone's thinking like, oh, Dallas might go for Amari or Keenan Allen, and they really just go for like Cedric Wilson for their wide receiver too, and it makes me want to throw up. I can see, guys, we made a move, new wide receiver in the building. Dak has connection with him. Everyone's like, oh, dude, it's Amari. Come on, it's easy. It's Amari. It's Cedric Wilson. I want to watch a playoff win that it would fill me with joy. God, baby, you have to be really, really bad. And that means, you know what? No playoff win, because if we're that bad, Dak got really hurt, and I don't need any more Dak injuries. I need that man healthy for life. So playoff win.
That's a good point.
Playoff win.
But imagine Dak, Jeremiah Smith, CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, and whatever, running back, insert running back with Jaden Blue in 2026, dude.
You know what?
What's going to happen is we're going to get the 1 seed, have a bye week, and me and Brendan are going to be like, we just want that one playoff win. And then Paul's going to be like, I messed it up, and we're going to lose and be like, we would have been in the NFC Championship finally with one playoff win.
Yeah. We shall see, man. I like, as bad as last season was, at least most weeks were still, I don't want to say entertaining, but still watchable.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush hurt to watch. Mainly going to 2 games live. Oh, dear God, that man can't throw anything. I don't know why the Ravens gave him that money.
I know, but think about that string of games, though. Commanders, Buccaneers, Bengals, and Panthers. I mean, that was a good time.
You got bailed out by Kevontae Turpin in the end, somehow doing the craziest spin move you'll see in the 21st century.
It was fun to watch one side of the ball.
Yeah.
Zimmer had the defense playing well.
Yeah, for sure. What did you learn from this? Or excuse me, what grade do you give this Cowboys draft, Mike?
A.
Yeah, pretty easily. Mike, Brendan?
A. Like they of course if they hit, but like on paper, you couldn't have done much better.
No, you really could not have. What did you learn from this draft, Brendan? Not necessarily but the Cowboys draft, but just the draft overall.
I'm gonna go back to Dallas just because I mainly focused on them. It's just that like they finally went BPA again, even though you have some massive needs, which they did fill in with these picks. You have some massive needs and they didn't reach. I thought they were going to trade back, get Matthew Golden. I didn't want Matthew Golden. I really didn't. Him choosing, what number did he choose for his NFL number? Like 22? That is disgusting. Automatically, you're wide receiver 5 on my team. Like, I don't care how talented you are. You could be Tyreek Hill speed. I don't care. 22 is gross. Like, you lose so much with that. But, like, they stuck to their board. Like, they saw the players that they wanted. They could have reached, and they could have gone back to what they did. Like I said, with Mike Green. I thought Mike Green was the pick. I was like, maybe Will Johnson, because, injured guy who could have gone in the first. But I'm like, oh, it's Mike Green 100% of the way. And I didn't want him. All those things that happened could be false. I don't care. They went for character that works and that had phenomenal talent. Like, you couldn't have gone much better than what they did.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we are with Mike. I'm sorry. What did you learn from the draft?
Just that Will McClay and them have finally learned how to value running back correctly. Took a while, but I love the press conference answer where they were asking about running back. He's like, "We can get a running back. Don't worry about it." It's beautiful.
Yes, sir. I don't know. I mean, at some point though, I feel like you've got to go.
No, you don't.
A little bit higher than a day 3 pick.
No, you don't. Jadon Blue is perfect. Javonte Williams and Jadon Blue are exactly how I want them to build the running back room. And then in 4 years, don't re-sign him. There's no need to, unless he'll take something that's decent for the price. But for how good I think he'll end up being, I don't want to bring him back. Run him and then go get some cheap-ass veteran and draft another guy. Round 4, if you have the pick, I think they would have got Jadon Blue in round 4, and I think that would have been fine. But, it's beautiful. It's perfect. Build your O-line, get a little couple of guys, and they'll run well enough.
If in the next 4 years if Jadon Blue has 200 catches, 3,500 all-purpose yards, and 16 touchdowns, would you want to re-sign him? Oh no, not 16 touchdowns. I'll say 30 touchdowns.
How much will we have to pay?
We'll say we're looking at a 3-year, $30 million with 15 guaranteed.
Nope. The minute you go over $6 million, I'm not interested.
He shot that down so fast.
There's no reason. There's a million other ones that you could get, and they'll just do it.
Can do the same exact thing.
Yes, pay those. You know who I want you to pay? Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Booker. Pay those 3.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, here we are with Mike's views from the sidelines. I had you kind of giving your scouting reports on the first 3 picks, Mike. If you want to kind of breeze through that, or we can just skip to the 4th question and talk about the 6th and 7th round picks. What I'll let you choose.
Booker's powerhouse guard, super smart, big film guy, and good locker room guy. Everybody says he's a great leader. Ezra Rockru is a pass rush specialist. He actually had 80 tackles. He plays the run well. I don't know if he's big enough to play it that well at the NFL level right away. Let him put on 10 pounds. But the effort and the smarts are there to play it. He understands what to do. Ravel Jr. is built in a lab for what the Cowboys like. Super athlete who's almost 6'3", long arms. That's what they like. They would take that every year in the draft if they could, let alone getting a first-round talent in round 3. So,
was it an 80-inch wingspan on Ravel, dude?
It's ridiculous. Same thing with Ezra who's got a crazy wingspan, and he's only 6'2". But his wingspan is crazy. So I almost said his length is crazy, and then we'd have to be like,
pause, man. Pause.
All
right. 6th and 7th round picks, do you think will make this team, Mike?
I got Jay Toia is almost a lock. I would almost lock that he makes it. Phil Maffa is going to be interesting because I think Javonte Williams is going to be in that spot. But we'll see. That's the 50-50 guy. But I think the one technique behind Mozzie is they don't have anybody. They need it.
Could you see Toya starting any games this year.
Only if Mozzie's hurt. I think people forget Mozzie, because he's a first-round pick, he'll never live up to that because he's not going to be that type of player.
Yeah.
But the last 8 games, he played like a good starting one technique. Like, I would have rather had him over a veteran, Hankins, or one of those players. He played well enough in that spot. And if he takes another to where he's an above-average player on that if Mozzie's above average, that D-line might be the best in the league. Like, if he's just above average.
I was watching a video last night with Foots and Vach, and it makes me sad that Vach kind of is like seems to have given up on Mozzie Smith already. Him and Foots, it seems like.
Yeah, they I understand. And the reason is they're thinking about it from a perspective of he'll never be a first-round pick. If Mozzie Smith was a 5th-round pick, everybody would be like, okay, here we go, our youngster's developing. And he's never going to reach the potential of the first-round guy, and you're probably not going to re-sign him because he's not playing well enough for the money he makes as a first-rounder. So re-signing him would be, very, very unlikely. So I understand them giving up as far as okay, we got 2 more years with him, and then he's gone. But the next 2 years, he could be a good starting one technique, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good to me. Here we are, Brendan's bashing draft edition. Brendan, talk to us, man.
It's gonna be this in the entire Shedeur Sanders fiasco. ESPN covering it, what Shedeur did, and all that. It was all just awful. Like, every time a quarterback could be going or your team, it showed the Bucks multiple times. The Shedeur watch, I'm like, why? Baker Mayfield did Baker Mayfield die? Did he just go off the face of the earth? They kept doing that, and then they just kept trying to bash all NFL teams for not drafting him. When I'm like, 32 teams didn't come together and said, "Hey, we're not drafting this guy," for a long, long time. No, you're just not that good. You were going you went in name alone. Like, you were good to a little bit above average at Colorado. Nothing special, nothing crazy. You didn't take them to the playoffs or anything. You got your jersey retired, so they acted like you had Joe Burrow numbers, which is dumb. And then if you went in the 5th and talk about people didn't like your interviews, GMs didn't agree what you thought, because you probably went in, hey, if you want to change your franchise, just take me. Brother, you're not that good. I didn't think this QB class was that good to begin with. But I don't think Cam Ward was going in oh, hey, Tennessee, you don't take me. Dude, your team's poverty. What were we doing? Legit, they made an entire draft about him. This is the craziest 5th-round pick I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen someone get that hyped up over a 5th-round pick. And they drafted a QB in the 3rd.
I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns week 1, though, honestly.
It'll be Joe Flacco. No, it'll be Flacco.
I could totally see it being Shedeur. I do think it'll be Flacco early, but I could see Shedeur. The thing is if he went in and actually was to every team, if you want to change your thing, you pick me. I'm a culture guy. I turned 1-15 Colorado around this, that. What he did is he went in and there were multiple teams. This is what I was told, that they were like, oh, he doesn't want us to draft him here.
Mm-hmm.
He does that. Why do you even take the interview? You obviously don't want to go to our school. And you add that. I think he had day 2 talent, a 2nd, 3rd round grade talent. But when you go in and bomb interviews like that, and teams feel like, oh, you don't want to be here, and your dad goes on TV and is like, I'll tell some teams that he's not going there. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happened. My problem with the coverage is, can you talk about a pick? We made 3 picks in the 5th round, and they were still talking about Shedeur Sanders. I watched the draft show, thank God. So we actually got. But when I go back through and watch every pick on the NFL draft stuff too, that day 3 was ridiculous. I finally was I'm not a fast forward guy, but I was finally fast forwarding because they were from that pick for an hour on, it was just Shedeur Sanders. And I'm like other people got picked. Are we going to talk about any of the players that got picked?
Dude, so imagine you go all year. Your team sucks. Like your team's utter trash. And so you're sucking up for the first overall pick. And you draft this year and you think you have the guy. Cam Ward could be the savior for the Titans. He was barely talked about. The first overall pick in the draft. And they're like, oh yeah, so the Titans got Cam Ward. So where do you think Shedeur's gonna go?
Yeah.
And all that. But also everyone, like, I heard people talking like, you draft him, he doesn't want to be a backup, but you're gonna have so much publicity for your backup QB that, like, why would you want that? So Dallas drafts him. Dak plays game, but he got to play hero ball. He throws a game-losing interception and all that because he's just having to fight and do everything. Does Dallas start Shedeur next week? Does he do it? Like what are we doing here? And like, why would you want that?
That's on Tampa Bay. If Baker's played great. Baker played at a friggin' great Pro Bowl level last year. If he came in and had a couple of bad games, what do you think? Maybe Baker's down. Maybe it's time to give Shedeur the ball. It would have been across the board.
It's like, I feel bad because guess what? All this stuff, but also how his dad, Deion's the best DB to ever live. You can't convince me otherwise. But dear God, how he's done this is awful. Early this year, he tweeted, man, if you get drafted to the Browns or you're quarterback to the Browns, you should just ask to leave and all that. And then he's being, oh my God, thank you so much, Browns, for giving my kid and I don't want to talk bad about people I'm going to call him out. Jordan Schultz came out and tweeted like he was getting upset. Everyone was bashing Shedeur. He's like, this kid, he grew up in mansions. He was able to travel around the world, but he chose this career path. Like he chose to get hit for a living. He chose a kid's game. Like, this is what football is. I love football to death. I wish I could have played. I obviously couldn't. But, the game is a privilege to play. Like, I don't know where all acting like he chose football. Wow. Man, his heart is insane. He chose this to fight or all this stuff. No. He was lucky enough that he got drafted and he's good enough to play. Like, that's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, the hardships that he's choosing. He went to the Browns. That's a hardship on its own. But other than that fact, this is all awful. It makes you want to root for someone to be bad. And I don't want to do that because you got drafted in the NFL. I hope everyone does well. But it just sucks.
Yeah, when you hear about how he was handling interviews and stuff and not even I even went as far as to hear that I guess it was the Giants gave him some tape or some plays to evaluate, and he couldn't break down the film or he couldn't break down the coverage and stuff. So I don't know, just not preparing for meetings and things like that. That's not the type of stuff you want to hear from a potential franchise quarterback.
Agreed.
He's too busy watching his draft room get built.
I'm actually gonna root for him because I don't have any issues with Shedeur Sanders, but hopefully this is a humbling experience for him. I hope him nothing but the best, but hopefully he can learn something from this.
Agreed.
But here we are with one word. The 2025 NFL draft was blank. Brendan.
So I wanted to preface it. Are we talking for the Cowboys, or are we just talking about in general?
In general.
I said it was adequate. I thought I'm going to go kind of laugh because I thought it was weird that we were just in Green Bay's parking lot. For the draft, I thought that was weird. You see fans walking to the stadium to watch it on the Jumbotron, but that's weird. But it was nothing bad happened. All that, everyone finds out. I said adequate.
Mike?
Helpful. Mine was more Dallas related, but it was helpful.
Gotcha. I went with progressive. Reason being is you didn't see a lot of teams reaching for quarterbacks just because they needed one. They just kind of stuck to their boards, took the best player available that was going to help their team. And, you see a guy like Shedeur Sanders fall, who was projected to be a top 5 pick, top 2 pick. He gets taken in the 5th round, but thinking about Tyler Shutt going in the 2nd round, maybe the progressive isn't the right word, but I thought you saw a lot of teams making better draft decisions and not forcing stuff. So that's why I went with that word.
I like it.
All right, top 5 favorite superheroes. This should be an interesting conversation, especially from you guys. I'm curious to hear y'all's list. I feel like we might have some similarities. I know, Mike, you usually throw a couple of curveballs in your top 5. So start us off with number 5 on your list, Mike.
Curveball number 1, Ant-Man. I just love Paul Rudd, so
Oh, that's not a bad pick at all.
Okay.
well, I just don't think he's like one of the big popular, Avenger, guys. But I just love Paul Rudd, so Ant-Man has to be in my top 5.
That's fair because I wasn't sure how you guys were going to approach this, and I was kind of like wanting to be when I was making my list, try to be more traditional, like not base it off like actors who played a superhero in movies and stuff. So I'm kind of glad to hear that on your list, though.
I did all mine based on
Movies?
on the actor or writer or whatever, like a specific one.
Okay, I got you. Okay, Brendan, how about you?
My number 5 is Nightwing. I love because you love to see because it's Dick Grayson, and so you get to see the progression. Is people could talk about what alternates like to like the original The Batman in the early 2000s that went from that Robin to Teen Titans Robin to now Nightwing. If y'all haven't watched original Teen Titans, I don't know what you've done because Robin swings so hard at them in that TV show. He is a badass, and knowing that he turns into Nightwing, and then you can just go any Arkham game with him, and that he just kicks so much ass. But he's also just just such a great character. Like he doesn't want to be Batman. He just wants to be his own person, but he's more carefree, all that while he's doing it. So you just get to see great character development, while also him beating the shit out of people.
So was Nightwing a glow up of Robin? Is that what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the original Robin turns into Nightwing.
Okay, interesting. Were you a big comic book guy, like in your?
I've gotten a lot more as I've gotten older, because I randomly be watching videos.
As you've gotten older, huh, man?
I'm 22 now, man. I'm 22. It's crazy.
Happy belated, by the way, sir. Last week was your birthday. I hope it was a good one, sir.
It was great, other than the fact the Rangers got tramped 13-1.
13-1. I was gonna say, I think I was watching the highlights. I'm like, I swear, I think Brendan's at this game, so that's probably why this happened.
Yeah, it was an interesting time.
Well, hopefully you had enough whiskey to survive that night, man.
I did. What the hell was that?
Water bottle.
All right, number 5 on my list. This is I like this superhero, but when I was making my list, I was like, okay, I'll definitely have to have this, and then on number 5, I'm like, I like superhero movies, but I've never been really a comic book guy, and I thought, either one or both of you guys would be more traditional, kind of like, going the route that Brendan just went with. Nightwing, kind of maybe picking some guys that aren't as popular and stuff. As far as my number 5, though, I was like, man, I couldn't pick a guy, and then I started going down like memory lane, and I remember every Sunday night there was a show that my grandmother would watch religiously. Like this is the only time she would ever sit down, really to take the time and sit down and watch TV. And she always, I remember watching this with her growing up. It was a TV show about Superman, but it was more based about Clark Kent and Lois and Lane. I forget what the show was called, but it was Lois and Clark. Yeah. So I'm like, I started thinking about Superman. I started thinking about that show. Started thinking about my Nana. So like, out of respect for her, I'll put Superman. Which Superman's awesome anyway. Regardless.
Was that with Terry Hatcher?
Yeah.
That bro. You don't even want to know.
She had a fastball, Mike.
Show, but I didn't give a shit about Superman.
Yeah, she had a fastball, Mike.
Bro, she was fine.
Yeah, but number 5, Superman, which I am pretty excited to see this new Superman movie come out. That's coming out, I guess, this summer.
James Gunn's a legend.
He's done some good things, man. I know he's had some questionable tweets as well, but yeah, when you talk about his movie making ability, he's right up there. Number 4 on my list, again, going down memory lane, coming home after school, or I believe also Saturday mornings, watching X-Men and my guy Gambit. Just one of the more underrated X-Men, one of the cooler X-Men, kind of cool story, different type of power and stuff, just a different personality compared to other superheroes and things like that. Other X-Men, gotta love my guy Gambit.
Did you watch X-Men 97?
I didn't watch.
What are you doing, man? Because honestly, I brain farted, so I wish I'd now put some people I watched on that. What are you doing? Oh.
Hey, I will say this. I have a feeling I'm going to be watching a lot more of those types of things like that because I recently got my son into watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I think he's starting to get into that phase of superheroes and stuff like that. So
watch X-Men 97. You said Gambit? Yeah, watch X-Men 97.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Brendan, number 4 on your list.
So I might like too into like actually, even though my number 2 is gonna contradict what I'm about to say, but I don't like the 2 like completely like god power for the most part. So I put Superman at my 4 because Henry Cavill just like he killed it so well, dude. And the Snyder cut, he's even more of a badass and all that, dude. It's just like I love seeing a dude who can be a little bit more charismatic, but also like I said, just beat the hell out of it, and nothing phases him for the most part, other than the awful, Batman versus Superman. But it's just Superman as a character is super fun to watch because like whenever he gets pissed against Darkseid, and you can talk about in the original animated series, not like he just lets loose. You've seen a guy fly through buildings and from one punch, like, okay, that's pretty badass.
Yeah. Leap tall buildings.
Yeah.
Single bound.
All right, Mike, number 4 on your list.
Number 4 for me is Chris Evans, Captain America. My reasoning is I just love what they did with the character as far as his character always stays. He's what Cowboys want. He's just always, when the snap happened, he's having meetings with everybody and like, hey, we got to build it up. Otherwise, what do we do it for? If we're not going to, this and that, there's a reason he was able to hold the hammer. I love the way he played Steve Rogers. The human that he was is what made him a superhero. He's fantastic.
Underrated superhero, I feel like.
Yeah. So great.
All right, Mike, number 3 on your list.
Number 3 is Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think he's the best one of the of Garfield and Maguire and Tom Holland. I just like the way he plays it. I think they do a good job of playing off him being a kid more. Mm-hmm. And I like his stuff with MJ and the man in the chair and everything and how he built from this high school kid with the high school problems all the way up to the adult he was in No Way Home. Just well done by Disney, and Tom Holland kills it. Can even do his stunts, dude. He's amazing.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
He does like flips and shit. A lot of them are him doing it.
Wow, very cool. All right, Brendan, number 3 on your list, sir.
Mine's this was my original number 1 for like a while, but I chose Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. I don't think I need to say anything else other than just his name. Yeah. But like so charismatic, and he is the character. He built basically Marvel. He was the backbone of that with it being the first movie. It's just what can't you like about that? Everything was awesome. His suits, all his fight scenes. You got to see Rhodey in that too, because Don Cheadle played that greatly. It's just everything about it was awesome. You get to see him and Pepper, him sacrifice himself many times. Everyone said he was selfish. It's just another just great character.
The first Iron Man movie is my favorite superhero movie. The first Iron Man movie is my favorite superhero movie.
Dude, it's so good.
He was my 5 for most of it, and then I was like, I got to get Paul Rudd on the list. So I moved him right at the end, but he's deserving in any top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't base any of my list off of like the characters in the movies and stuff, or the actors playing in the movies. But it would have been a lot different, and Iron Man would have definitely made it in there.
Yeah,
it's what I grew up with.
I'm honest, you, sir. Number 3 on my list, probably everybody's favorite X-Men, Wolverine. Come on, man.
Yeah, elite.
Just a total badass.
X-Men 97. Watch it.
Yeah, dude, you've missed out so much.
I haven't even seen Logan, y'all.
I'm fucking done with you. How did
I've
you
been trying to watch a lot
Deadpool?
more movies lately. I have like trying to catch up on stuff, but
How'd you watch Deadpool and Wolverine?
I didn't see it
I don't even want to.
because I hadn't seen Deadpool 2.
What are we doing? A top 5 superheroes? Oh my god! Hurry
Because-
up! I gotta pee and I need to take my insulin. Just
All right.
who's next?
Number 2 on my list. This might be the most controversial one on my list. I don't know if you consider these guys superheroes, but I put Michelangelo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
Did y'all consider?
Hey, he fought with They fought with Batman for
Yeah.
So he's a superhero.
They did?
Yeah. This guy.
Oh my
Okay,
god!
who's next?
I have to see that.
Don't even pay attention to Paul's. His
Okay,
list.
Brendan, number 2 on your list.
So I always liked Thor as a character. Like I thought he was cool. But then Ragnarok came out, and I'm like, holy shit, he is one of the most bad A dudes of all time. The way he finally learned that he just do everything by himself with lightning and all that. And you see his entrance into when he came in to attack Thanos and all that. Oh my gosh. So much destruction, and it was beautiful. And also, dude, are we going to talk about how he's funny as hell too with with the Hulk? Like, come on.
He is. He's great.
Mike, number 2 on your list, sir.
I got Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale's Batman. Just
Not
perfect.
gonna bring it.
Perfect trilogy.
Damn, didn't even bring up Conroy.
Huh?
Didn't even bring up Conroy. Kevin Conroy.
That's all about the Joker for me. I'm all Mark Hamill's Joker in that Batman thing. I'm all Christopher. I think Christopher Nolan makes every other Batman not as good because his was so elite.
Who do you think's the worst Batman of all time?
Clooney? Clooney?
Clooney, really? Worse than Val Kilmer?
But the problem with them is I didn't have any issue with any of the Batmans.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's I guess worse would. I like Ben Affleck with Zack Snyder. I guess Val or Clooney, one of those two.
Yeah. All right, Brendan, number 2, or you said that was your number 2, right? Mike, number 1 on your list.
My number 1's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
So good, dude.
How do you know? You don't know? You didn't watch Logan or Deadpool. His 2 best movies. The 2 best Wolverine movies are Logan and Deadpool and Wolverine.
I'm sorry.
Can we just hurry up and do your guys' stuff? I gotta pee.
All right, Brendan, number 1 on your list.
I'm so happy I'm finally not the one being judged by Mike. And honestly, it's a nice change of pace.
Logan.
But no, mine is Batman 4 because Christian Bale killed it. That's why honestly I dislike Affleck a lot because I compared him to Bale the entire time. But also Kevin Conroy was awesome, dude, in everything he did. But I'm not even talking about just the TV shows and the animated movies. Dude, him in the Arkham series. Oh my god. Like him as Arkham Batman is one of the best is the best superhero of all time in my opinion. He knows everything. You think like, oh, guess what? We're gonna trick him. Oh no, you're done. He already knew what your moves were 2 hours ago. He was just waiting. Like,
he's legit. I can't even lie. He's a badass Batman.
For the first time ever in show history, number 1 on my list is also Batman. I don't think the 3 of us have ever had the same number 1. So
I was Wolverine. Batman was.
Oh yeah, you were number 2. Damn. Tonight's not my night.
What's the last Batman thing you watched?
Me?
Yeah. No, Mike. No, Mike. I know you. Paul, what was the last Batman thing you watched?
I feel like I watched The Dark Knight not that long ago, but of course I had to go see Batman and Superman, so I don't know how you feel about that. Where do I get judged on that? But you've seen
the Christian Bale trilogy, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, The Dark Knight is like my top 3 movie of all time. Not just superhero movie, but top 3 movie.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
You wanna take a guess what the last Batman thing I saw? What's the last Batman thing I've watched? What do you think it is?
Oh, there's so many Batman things. I know you're a nerd, so like it's hard.
I feel like you've played a video game recently, if that counts.
Batman Telltale. I did play that not too long ago. Great game. But it was I was rewatching the original Michael Keaton Batmans, and I just finished Batman Returns, and I just started the third one. Is it Batman Forever?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one with Seal playing Kiss by a Rose at the end?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. It's it's the one with it's the third one. Now I can't remember. It was
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I think so.
The Riddler.
And then the fourth one is the one that has Arnold as Freeze, right?
Freeze.
Okay, let's go. We're at almost an hour and a half. What are we doing?
All right, before we get you out of here, Mike, where can we find you on Twitter?
DD Piglet, guys, nice and easy. I'm sorry, I got to pee really bad.
Brendan, let them know.
Brandon_Smith 26.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we will see you guys next week.